Welcome to the Never Seen It Podcast, the only podcast called the Never Seen It Podcast worth listening to. Why, you ask? Well, let me tell you. We have Mr. Shibs the Zombie, aka Justin Holden. We have Mr. Arnie, the one-man party, aka Arnold Callego, drinks up. We have Mr. Daily Dares, aka Filipino Grigio, aka Alex Callego, the brothers Callego. Of course, we have Mr. Donnie Appleseed, aka Donnie Guzman, the cousins Callego. And then there's me, Boots Too Big, aka Adrian Delatoro. And tonight we have a very special guest on our show. She is a staff writer at 303 Magazine, executive producer at Millennial Matrix Media, co-founder of the Castle Rock Film Festival, and this is something we both have in common, a former exotic dancer. So I'd like to welcome to the show Miss Amber Wyatt. Welcome, Amber.
Welcome.
Thank you for being here tonight.
Hello, hello.
And the movie we are discussing is a 2024 film, Anora.
15. Cash up front.
Deal.
Deal.
Directed by Sean Baker, who we previously did a movie on this show, Florida Project. Anora.
Actually, you didn't.
Oh, God.
You didn't.
I forgot about that.
One of the lost episodes.
Lost episode. Yeah,
Damn it.
right.
Damn. So good.
Anora.
What a good episode.
It was actually a good discussion.
It was really good.
A young sex worker from Brooklyn gets her chance at a Cinderella story when she meets and impulsively marries the son of a rich Russian oligarch. Once the news reaches Russia, her fairy tale is threatened as the parents set out for New York to get the marriage annulled. So that's the movie. This is a brand new movie. Won the Best Picture Oscar for 2024. Sean Baker won Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, I believe it was, and Best Editing, which is amazing that he actually edited this himself as well. Fresh off the presses, who chose this movie, by the way? Which one of the gang was it?
That was me.
What compelled you to choose this film, Donnie?
Well, it was actually something that I wanted to see like in the theaters when I first saw the previews. It kind of drew me in with the way they were shot, with all the colorful shots in low light. I don't know, I'm into that kind of thing, and I thought it would be an interesting perspective to see a movie where it talks about like interesting perspective of a sex worker and what they go through.
Nice.
So,
Did Vegas play into your decision?
Well, I live in Vegas, so for those who don't know, and like you see both characters, like those rich young people that come in from overseas, and also sex workers all over the place. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting.
Oh, so that's what that was. No, nice. Well, yeah. Thanks for choosing. It was a very interesting movie to watch. But yeah, let's go around the room, and Amber, I will start with you. What did this movie do for you, Amber?
It was I was just like impressed with the research that they did. Because like the conversations that were taking place like in the strip club were like so like niche and like so like accurate. And it's like they definitely talked to other dancers like to figure that out. Because like talking about the DJ not playing your playlist, that's like an every night thing. Talking about like threatening not to tip out. Like tip out is like this whole illegal thing. Like, I don't know. Are you guys familiar?
My sister works in a restaurant. She's always talked about you have to tip out people and that work in the restaurant on your shift. I didn't even know that was a thing, by the way.
Is it similar?
Yeah, but like you're an independent contractor at the club and you pay a stage fee to perform there for the evening. And that's all that you legally have to pay, like as an independent contractor, like you're not an employee of the club. So like at the end of the night, like there's this thing called tip out, and like you'll have to tip out like the girl who counts the dances, or like she'll fuck your dance count up, and you have to like tip out the bartender, or like they won't get your customer drunk, and you have to tip out the DJ, or like he won't play your playlist and probably won't anyways, like they were saying. And then because he's just like some dickhead, like it's always like that. And then like you have to tip out like the manager, or like he's not going to let you leave early sometimes. And then you have to tip out the valet, or like you're going to be the last one to leave at the night. But it's like all of that's illegal. But if you don't do it, like you get treated like shit. So
Right.
like, it's like you have to just to keep the peace basically. But like I just thought it was so funny when she was like, if like your cousin, the DJ, like doesn't start playing, like we're gonna not tip him out anymore. And it's like they would actually probably never do that because like they'll like make it hell for you if you don't tip out. So like, but like she's just threatening, like and just talking shit because that's like all that Anora does. And I love that. And then like there's that other thing too that was super niche where like okay, like a girl would like dance with your cousin. Well, it's not ever your customer. That's the thing. So like a girl will like dance with a customer and then like another girl will come up to you and be like, "Did you dance with my customer?" And it's like, "How the fuck is it your customer, bro? Like it's a guy in here." Like, "Yeah, I did." But that was the same thing that happened to her and then it like ended up leading to that whole thing at the end where like that girl was really mad about that. And it's like literally like $45, $55. Like chill, bro. Like who's finna get in a fight over $45, man? Like, so yeah, that was really I love that they really did the research and I feel like they had like dancers or like sex workers or whatever, like actually like in on like the script writing had to be, at least like the dialogue.
Yeah.
But then also, like, I liked how that was kind of shot like widescreen or something. Like, that was like Holga almost. Like, it was really weird. It was like wide, but then it was like concave and like fuzzy on the ends, like out of focus a bit.
Right.
Did you guys notice that?
I noticed I rented it through my cable provider and I have motion smoothing off on my TV, but it felt like it was digital or something. And I looked it up, but they shot it on film. I specifically looked it up because I was like, wait, why does it look so digital? But they shot it on film. So did anybody else notice that? Was the frame rate weird for anybody else? Or was it just me?
I don't know when the round was I didn't
It's like a
notice the round.
fisheye, right?
There was
Yeah, I
round
think it's a
more
slight
in the middle
fisheye
of the
is what they were
screen,
using or
like
something.
round.
What scene
I
was
didn't
that
notice
in
that.
Arnold? What scene was that?
Arnold noticed too.
Right off the bat. I had no idea what the movie was about.
Yeah,
and then
you were distracted, weren't you?
You know, I thought it was really accurate too, like how they approach the customers in the strip club, right? Not that I've gone a lot or I frequent, but you know, I grew up. I was here when I turned 18.
So
and
you've read.
From my experience.
Yeah, so they can be very territorial, huh? Amber, I didn't know that. I never would have thought that about a strip club. I would have thought it would just be like, oh, every customer is just a customer, but they can be very territorial, is what you're saying, huh?
Yeah, and it's like irrational, right? It's like, okay, you did like two dances with him last week. Like, I think that it's better to assume like the guy doesn't want to dance with the same girl over and over again. Like, let's switch it up, dude. Like, that's how I feel when I go as a customer. Like, I'm trying to dance with different girls and meet different girls every time. I'm not trying to be with the same girl. Like, I got a wife at home, bro. Like, I'm not trying to. Why would I come here and see the same girl over and over again? Like, so that, yeah, that's definitely how it is. And then what else was I gonna say about it? That was like super, I don't know, like it's sort of like, you have that character and like you have that name there. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You guys were talking about how she was hustling. Yeah, that's like really how it is sometimes too. Like that's the hustle. He's like, I'm not trying to spend that much. She was like, yeah, let's go to the ATM. And he's
Yeah.
like, really? And she's like, ATM.
I like that moment because it felt like she was so charming and she's like basically leading a dog to water, you know. And it's
I'm
like,
not gonna lie, I got caught up doing that a couple of times. So I'm like, what's an extra $150? You know,
was that at my
man.
bachelor party or I mean
I remember
Anne's
that.
bachelor
I wasn't.
party?
You know what? I wasn't gonna call you out, Arnold. But
Was her
yes,
name
it was.
Diamond?
I remember that name.
Her name was Freddy Krueger because she dressed as Freddy Krueger.
Oh, nice. But they should do theme nights like that. At strip clubs or whatever. I don't know if they do.
It was at Cheetahs in San Diego. It was during Comic-Con, so they were all dressed up because they knew all the Comic-Con guys were coming in.
Nice.
That's amazing.
They got me with Freddy.
That's what did it for you, huh? It was Freddy Krueger that did
It was
for
Freddy,
you?
man. It was Freddy.
Wow.
I was also gonna say, like, with that, like, kind of Holga lens, like, type vibe that was going on. Like, I guess that's just like the film, but like, whatever that kind of like dreamy, like, thing was to it, like it was giving like dissociation, right? Because like that's what it is. Like when you have that character, like it's not me, bro. Like I'm like out here with Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like, but in the club, I can't act like that. You gotta be like, so they buy. But it's like like Amber is like a big tomboy, but it's like, yeah, but I don't know. So you like create a character, and then it's like, I guess it could be a bit dissociative, like in a way. Like, I mean, for me, I think it was just acting, but like she was really deep into stuff, you know what I mean? So like that kind of, I don't know if that was intended, but like that was kind of what I thought. Like, why was it so like dreamy and like out of focus, like in some parts? Like I think that's what it was. It's like
Yeah.
Annie, Anora. It's like making the viewer like it's like emphasizing like the difference between those two people.
Yeah, and Sean Baker does have a and I know we haven't released it, but we lost it. But when we did Florida Project, he tends to have a dreamy sort of vibe to the stuff he films and the way he shoots things, and especially like the very ending of Florida Project. Spoiler alert, but that little last bit where they run off to Disney World or whatever, like that felt like a dream. And I feel like that's just kind of part of his style, and when he shoots his movies, so I totally get what you're saying. But another thing I found interesting of those opening 30 minutes was like the sort of politics backstage with the girls, and how there's like a kind of like a high schoolish Mean Girls kind of dynamic going on. I thought that was interesting. I felt realistic. The way she talks with her best friend, and then the animosity she has with the redhead girl. I forget her name. I thought that was all really good. So
Well, can I say like something significant about like the conversations between the dancers is like the part at the end of the night, at the beginning of the movie, where like her and her best friend are like smoking the joint out front, and then like he's like, yeah, like she's like, he like said I look like his 18-year-old daughter, and then like she's like, like
yeah.
no, but then
And
she
then bought
has to,
five
but then,
dances.
no, yes, but then they have to be like, well, at least he bought the dances. Like you have to like justify this bullshit all the time because it's just like insane, and you're like, well, there's got to be a silver lining to it somewhere. Like,
Yeah.
What
It's
what about
so
the
real.
part with her going home by herself, like subway? I mean, and then walking. Don't they usually have like a lot of cash on them, and can they be like targets? I'm sure they may be.
For sure.
That's something to
Yeah.
think. I know a lot of them. They
I feel
have
like in
a
the
friend pick
modern
them up or a
day,
boyfriend pick them up.
would she stop
I
by
was,
her
I was actually
ATM and just make a deposit? I don't know, just to keep it all.
I was actually kind of thinking about that at the very end when they went to the bank, and then they say like at the very end that we're gonna give you the money, and which is like 10 grand, and they're walking out, and she's supposed to have it on her, right? And she's walking out of
Yeah.
the bank with 10 grand in her purse, and like imagine somebody like just robbing her right there.
I didn't even catch
Then I
that, to be
guess
honest.
She
yeah.
had Igor with
Yeah,
him.
they walk out of a chase bank.
I mean Igor, regardless if he was there or not, if somebody tried to rob her, so he would try to rob her. You know,
That's
like it doesn't remove any sort of like consciousness of like
Mm.
the robbery. You know, like
Right.
if somebody's gonna rob you, somebody's gonna rob you.
I almost feel
That's
like
any
that.
right? It's just anyone. She's also dressed down completely, no makeup when she's leaving the club. So it's like she just looks like a normal person, right?
A civilian.
Like, no
Yeah.
inkling. Yeah, civilian. And that could be anyone. She's an easy target because she's
What
a
is-
smaller frame chick, but
Would it be similar to like, when you work at a business with a uniform and then you just take the uniform off so nobody like interacts with you outside of work? Like I know I do that. I have a uniform, so when I take it off before I leave work, because there's been times where I'll have my uniform when I'm leaving work and people will come up to me and I'll be like, "Oh man, I just want to go home, dude.
Dude,
Leave me
I,
alone.
no
I've,
money.
I've,
I
I've
have no
been to
money.
Target.
Stop."
I've been to Target. I don't go to Target anymore. When I'd go to Target wearing a red shirt, people just walk up to you and it's like ask you
Ask you.
questions. Like, dude, I don't work here.
Yeah.
it's I'll work, but I don't work.
Yeah,
here.
that happened to me.
So we've only covered like the very beginning of this movie, and I feel like this movie is a whirlwind of a story. The way from beginning to end, like it does not let up. So I wanted to ask you guys, yeah. So what did you? So those first 30 minutes is like them partying and hooking up and all that stuff, and she's sort of still acting like like a client basically to the young Russian lad. And then they go to Vegas, they get married, and then it's all downhill from there. But what did you guys think of that? Like, there was such a stark difference between the first act of the movie going into the rest of it. As far as pacing, as far as tone, as far as editing, like, was that kind of jarring for anybody else? Am I the only one?
No,
I felt a switch like somewhere. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I felt a switch somewhere where it almost seemed like there was like a lot of dark humor inserted in. Did you guys feel that too?
Oh
Like
yeah.
it started getting like
Yeah.
right, yeah, and so
Yeah.
it kind of changed the pace a little bit after that had happened for me.
Yeah,
Very dark humor.
it kind of reminded me of Fargo. It gave me Fargo vibes. You know?
Fargo, yeah.
I was thinking about Uncut Gems, dude.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, I got uncut gems from that as well.
I haven't seen Uncut Gems.
I was like, did the Safdie brothers direct this shit? It was so chaotic. Like, just
Yep.
Yeah.
But the chaos was like it was so well orchestrated. Like Amber, like what you were saying earlier, like they did their research for sure. Like you could totally see in the acting, and I really appreciated that. And I thought it made for such a good film because of that.
It felt real. Felt
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I could
like-
totally see that happening in Vegas, like completely.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean,
And then
And-
like, go ahead.
no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I think like with the dark humor piece that you guys are talking about, like I think that was like a full like demonstration of like actual PTSD that like every dancer has, bro. Cause like I never went like as far as she did or anything, you know what I mean? But I know a lot of girls who did do that. And like whenever you get to like the escorting, it's like I don't even know, dude. Like that's got to be crazy. So like I feel like she had like legitimately like did think they were about to rape her, bro. Like I don't know, but like I felt like it was straight like it was like a depiction of PTSD because like she was overreacting, but it's like then if you think about it in that context, like oh she has sex for money, like this could be really scary, dude. Like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I kind of took it that
That
way.
was that part right there that you're talking about. I think that was like one of the best scenes of the movie. Like that seems so real to me. Like how she was acting and how she was just going all out. Like so real, dude. Like I thought it was so good.
Right.
Yeah.
even the backwards
That kinda
tumble on
reminds
the
me
bed
of
by Vanya.
Oh, that was a
I mean-
great moment.
That kind of reminds me though of like this whole conversation is so there's this trans boy that I follow on Instagram, and he was talking about um how they do OnlyFans, and they've been doing OnlyFans for like 5 or 6 years. And originally, when he started off doing OnlyFans, he hadn't transitioned yet, and they he had transitioned, but that's regardless of all that. Throughout the whole time, they were talking about like he was talking about how there's a lot of in that industry you're approached by a lot of different things that, and I can imagine that's probably the same way in like strip clubs where like you're like kind of pushed, or like people try to uh hey, you should maybe have you ever thought of being an escort? And then for him, he was talking about how getting approached by like managers or quote unquote managers and people even straight up wanting to pimp, you know? So I can imagine that's what happens at clubs. So that whole sort of PTSD exists in sex work across the board. So
Sometimes I think they do it so like they're in control. Like they think like I'm just gonna get raped anyway, so like I might as well like be on my terms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
literally, I've met some girls that have that train of thought, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like,
That was crazy.
I don't think anybody could pay me enough, but go ahead.
No, yeah, that's all good stuff. That whole sequence with Toros being phoned at the church, and he's like looking at his text. He's like, "Oh no!" As he's in the middle of a baptism or whatever. That was a great little moment. And then the way he like has to exit the church, and everyone's like, "What the fuck?" And then
Yeah,
that
it's
whole
like
sequence of him on the phone driving and her on the other end yelling and Yanev and the two goons and all that. It was like, yeah, that gave me Uncut Gems vibes. And
What I like about that whole like sequence is you think they're gangsters, right? They're like
right.
these, but then you get to the point where it's like, no, he's just like a guardian who's like
Mm,
tasked to watch over Vanya, you know?
And they're
yeah.
like
And
idiots too. It's like, wow, they're really not even that good at what they do.
yeah,
No.
Yeah.
they're really bad. And like that guy Igor, he's there and it's like he's just new. He's just like on the job is like it seems like it's his first day, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed, and speaking of that scene, I was expecting it to turn dark, and it didn't turn dark, even though they were literally having to tie her up and all that. And I didn't think it was an overreaction. She was, I think, reacting appropriately given the situation. But I noticed that like the two henchmen guys didn't have any kind of weapon on them. And I was expecting that. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop at some point, and it never did. So I thought it was interesting how he took it in a direction that sort of subverted your expectations for how that all was going to play out. But yeah, that entire sequence with Toros driving from the church to the house. I mean, God, that was just so chaotic. It was crazy. And then I feel like, did anybody else catch, like, they were sort of planting the seeds, I thought, for Igor to sort
Yeah.
of fall for.
In the background, right? Like you can
Yeah,
see the
like
whole movie.
there
Yeah.
was a glint in his eye, I noticed. And I was like, I
Yeah.
know that glint. I feel like every guy in here probably knows that glint. Like when you see someone for the first time, you're like, oh, okay. So I don't know. So I guess you guys did catch that, right? That they were sort of planting.
Yeah. He had like a softness for her.
Yeah.
He was just kind of like um yeah.
Like he was doing
I,
it for
th-
the
I think
money. Like he really didn't want to be fucking doing that. He's like, oh, I feel bad. But then he's like, well, I need the money. Like he lives in fucking Queens or something.
Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah.
kept on talking about like he lives with his grandmother and they like at the end of the movie you find out that the car is his grandfather's and
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
yeah.
also funny how this movie kind of turned into like a waiting for Godot type of thing, where it's like Yanev is like the key to the whole story, and we don't see him for 70% of the movie. Like the rest of the story is like this fetch quest for like where is Yanev and going to all his usual haunts. What did you guys think about that whole sequence? Because I feel like Anora sort of started to just kind of be a ride along passenger than that part of the story. Like, Alex, I'll start with you. Like, what did you think of that sequence, kind of in general?
I felt like during that whole sequence, it was just kind of bumbling, you know? They were stumbling through their way to try to figure out where Vanya is, you know? But it did show a lot of the character for each person, you know? Why their intentions, like why they're doing it, like with Toros, he's like, damn it, this kid, I was tasked to like they're gonna kill me, you know? And then you see what's the other guy who got like you think he has a concussion? He's
Oh
just
yeah,
like that, like he's like a comedy relief kind of, you
yeah.
know? He's like he definitely has a concussion. He's like throwing up, trying not to fall asleep and everything. And
No, but
then
also he
and
took
then
pain pills. I think he was throwing up because he took three
that's
of them
true.
instead of one.
That's true.
That's a good
That's true.
catch. I did not catch that at
Yeah.
all.
Oh, didn't they say don't take
I
them all
totally
at
forgot
once?
that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he did.
I
No
thought I
water.
thought I read that you could throw up from having a concussion. That's what I assumed it was.
You can. You can.
Either.
It's
Probably
one of those things you have to
mixable.
you have to like sit up upright like the whole time. I remember I was at the last time I went to see Future Islands in at North Park. They this kid he like made his way onto the stage and leaped into the crowd, did a stage dive, and nobody caught him. And the kid like face planted, right? And like I was like, oh man, that kid's dead. And like, no, he got up, but people like helped him out. And then at the end of the show, I saw like him with the paramedics, and they just like, you gotta sit up upright and don't fall asleep. Then like they had somebody sitting there like just watching him, making sure he doesn't fall asleep. I was like,
Yeah. Rookie move.
yeah.
Arnold, you've been kind of quiet. I want to ask you really quick. What stuck out for you for this
Well, you
movie?
know the lighting, the lighting. Just kidding. I don't know about all that shit.
Don't tease me like that. You know I like lighting.
I know. I mean, I went into it really. I did not know at all what the movie was about, and so, uh, in the first 30 seconds for titties to be in the scene on camera. I was watching this with my wife, and we had just finished eating dinner, and I was like, it was like 9:15 when we started watching it, and she's like, "You're starting late. Like, get sleepy." I just had corned beef and cabbage and potatoes and carrots, and it was like a heavy meal. It was really good, and
Was that from
and
the Garlic Valley?
but and what?
That's an inside joke. What was the Garlic Valley in California? What was it called?
Gilroy.
Gilroy. Oh yeah, where you could just hang your meat and get it marinated just by hanging. Be tasty.
Beautiful. Chef's kiss.
Um, yeah. uh, what was I saying?
Is
Oh
it
yeah, so I
awkward to
didn't.
watch this kind of movie with your wife? I mean, it shouldn't be. She's your wife, right? I mean,
Well,
whatever.
no, she was like looking at me. She's like, you you like this? She's looking if I'm getting excited or
You're
something.
like,
I was like,
honey,
no,
it's
look.
research. Research for the show.
This is the movie we're assigned to watch. I gotta watch it. Okay. So but uh what else can I say? I know that just how it really felt realistic, even though I never really worked in that world. But uh I mean I've seen some TikTok
Not
videos
yet.
and stuff of people like, oh, here's my life, a week in my life working as a stripper, and they usually show like how much money they make and stuff like that, and all the different
Get ready with me as
um
I go out on my night. Yes. Yeah. That sort of thing.
yeah, yeah. But so this was definitely a lot more realistic, and uh Vanya. I couldn't help but think about my friend Vanya, who spells it
Oh
with a
yeah, you do have
J
a friend named Wyatt.
instead of a Y.
Right. Is he
Um,
Russian?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Is he rich?
yes. In high
Ah,
school, he had a Mercedes SUV.
nice.
And so we kind of would
Did
bum rides from him
did
and
he ask
feel
to marry
cool.
you?
They did to Vegas and proposed love to you, Arnold.
Fumbled
But
the bag.
he was pretty wild. He was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Would party pretty hard. Not quite like Vanya in the movie. Nor was he like that rich like him. Um,
He wasn't oligarch rich. He was just rich.
You know,
He was
Arnold,
he was Palm Springs kid rich.
I was a wedding what does he call it? A wedding aficionator one time. I did it one time. So if you
Nice.
ever need it for your
Yeah.
Russian friend,
Let us know, Arnold.
Well, now that I look at it and just I don't think he was like that rich, but like they had money enough for him to have a brand new Mercedes in high school.
Yeah. I bet he likes to tailgate people on the freeway.
I don't think he has that anymore, or maybe he still does the same one since high school.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, uh um, honestly, um, geez. Sorry guys. I just came back from work. I'm like really tired. I did think it was a really good movie. The whole part of them looking for Vanya, it felt a little bit like it was like it started to get long, and I started looking at the time, and I
Mm.
was like, oh damn, we still got like more than an hour left.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
anybody else kind of felt the same way.
Yeah.
And
Sort
I
of.
started like questioning, like, oh wow, this got one of the most Oscars. I feel like Emilia Perez was better. What? Oh,
Uh, I want to know about exchange operation. I see. No, the candy shop scene I thought was like, I didn't even really, I don't know. That was like, to me, the whole movie, to me, that scene was probably the weakest. How say you? Uh, Justin, you tell us. What do you think about the candy shop scene in particular?
Like I literally just got finished watching that movie, and what candy
So
shop
they
scene?
go,
I don't
remember on
recall a candy shop
their
scene.
friends that have a candy shop on the boardwalk of the beach or whatever?
Oh, and then they start like smashing everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
towards the end.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, like to push the plot forward of like finding their friend, and I mean, yeah, I mean, I would if I was looking for somebody, I'd go to all of the possible locations. I don't think it was unnecessary. I
Right.
did like, however, like when he smashed everything and he took the bat and he went like, and then it like broke. I thought that was hilarious. Oh, it was like, oh, he's just
I
having
take it back. That one moment makes up for the whole thing,
right.
actually. That was
Um,
good.
I like the candy shop owner. The candy shop owner is
Yeah.
hilarious.
I
Oh
was
yeah,
gonna say,
he was like,
No, he was
"What
hilarious.
the hell's
happened?"
going on here?" That shit was hilarious too.
Could you tell that
Yo, he
the
looks
two
like
candy
a
shop kids were not really actors? Could you guys kind of tell they were like not really
Yeah.
like
They
actors?
actually they actually work
they're
there.
pulled from the they actually work there, and
Yeah.
that
They
old
actually
man
work there.
actually owned the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He honestly, that old guy looks like one of my uncles. But anyway, yeah, I thought that was the. I mean, I feel like all the scenes were necessary. I did catch myself. There was one point in time, I paused the movie and I looked up. I was like, I wanted to get something really quick, and I was like, maybe I'll look at the time. And I'm like, oh God, I have 30 minutes left. But it wasn't like a bad thing. It was more like, wow, because when I originally watched the commercials, I didn't go into it doing any kind of research. I was just like, I know it won some Oscars. I saw one trailer for it, and that was about it. And it was completely different than what I expected it to be. So I didn't really think that the scene was unnecessary. I felt like it was a plot point to move the characters forward to the next destination type of deal. Could it have been summarized? Maybe, but I feel like it was a key point to allow them to push the story further.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
like
I kind of honestly disagree with the idea that it's wasn't
You don't think so?
necessary. I think it was a very poignant moment. I mean, it showed if in the grand scheme of things when you look back, and especially like in terms of like how we like to like do multiple viewings of films. If you like a film, you look back on that now, it's like, oh, Igor is showing his care and concern, and that's a point in that movie where he's actually, he's maybe being the muscle, but he's doing it for Anora, you know, because like he wants to help her, because regardless of like his feelings and or if he's even like having feelings yet for her, he's doing it because one, he's got a job, but then this is also he sees how like emotionally distraught she is, and he just wants to get this like figured out, and so he's doing what he has to do, and that guy gets that Vanya's friend gets in his face, and is like, trying to like muscle him, and then he steals the bat like so easily from him, and just kind of showing him what's up, and that's like almost like a flex, you
Yeah.
know? Like,
Like,
dude, like
like
don't mess
he's
with me.
like
Oh.
he's in that job for a reason. But he doesn't he doesn't necessarily show it. Like he probably is a very dangerous person, but he's reserved because he didn't take on this job to hurt people. He probably just took on the job to intimidate more than anything.
Yeah, he's
Right.
he's good at intimidating, but then he's like definitely like that's the starting seeds of him having feelings, I guess, for
Yeah.
Honora.
In my opinion, there's like a parallel between like what he does and what she does because I feel like he like has to go out and do this shit, but he's doing it for money. And then like she has to go do this shit, but she's just doing it for money. Like, and neither one
Yeah.
of them are really who they are, but they have to curate like these intimidating or sexy like personas to get their money, but who they really are is kind of lost in there. It's like because most of the time they have to be the character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
That's a
yeah.
great
that's
point.
brilliant.
And
For real.
I think what's interesting too is like you could see it as if like he pities her, but if somebody really pities somebody, you don't really fall for them. You actually like you could tell. That's why I think that's when the seeds of him actually falling for her occur, because pity is not love. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think his role was pivotal in the way that like the reason he was there, right? At least in my opinion, it's like he is the only person that actually respected Anora, right? Like he saw like the humanistic values of who she was, other than just her position as a sex worker. And I think that was the main purpose of his role in the movie was like, hey, and that's why we capture those glimpses, not because he was like falling in love, but more that, hey, I see this person as a person. Like this is a person, has feelings, has emotions, and like everybody treats her like shit. And I think that was his main role in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, I think his job was like, like his job is to help like care for Vanya, but so that by extension, care for his wife, right?
Right. I wanted to kind of like bring it back just a little bit because we were talking about it earlier how, obviously the director, Sean Baker, um, he does, I feel like because you were talking about like research and stuff or like this movie kind of accurately portrays the life of type of deal. But Sean Baker is, since we've seen Florida Project unreleased episode, we know that he does like a lot of research because like much like Florida Project, that was shot in and done in such a way that he did a lot of research. A lot of the actors that he pulled were the people that actually lived on that property, like all of them. So I feel like Sean Baker does a really good job at storytelling because he does the research. He does a really good deep dive. I feel like that's why I really like a lot of his films in general, is because they're so real, but he adds his own flair and his own character to them. And I think I really appreciate like his style of like directing and writing. Or does he do writing, or does he just do
Oh,
directing?
he wrote
He does
this.
writing too. Yeah.
Yeah, best original screenplay.
Yep.
He
Um,
definitely focuses on like marginalized people and like immigrants and sex worker and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I thought that was interesting, sort of a thorough line in his movies because Tangerine was about transgender prostitutes in L.A. Red Rocket, I believe, is it adult film stars or sex workers of some kind?
Yeah.
And then, of course, Florida Project, which we never released, but she turns to prostitution in that movie as well. So yeah, it's an interesting theme that he has going on. You know what movie we should watch paired with this? Zola. Have you guys seen Zola? That would be
That's
a good
one I've been wanting to watch.
Oh, that's a good movie. That's similar sort of vibes as this movie, and
Also by him?
no, not by Sean Baker, but it was based on a series of tweets that came out like I don't know 10 years ago or 8 years ago or
Wow.
something like that. A girl who's a stripper, escort stripper or something. She does both.
Oh,
And
this
then
crezy thing she went through.
yeah,
Read the tweets. Yeah.
the tweets.
Did she
It
like
got
end up
picked
in
up.
Diddy's house or some shit?
I don't know if it was Diddy's house. In the movie, they go to Florida and they like to party and stuff and do and whatnot. And I don't want to give it away, but yeah, they end up in some
Nice
pretty
try, Diddy.
precarious in the Tri Diddy area.
Diddy did it.
Oh my god, yeah. So we should probably do that next. That would be a good companion movie for this. No,
Wait,
so
I
good
wanted
stuff.
to-
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask you guys, like at the candy shop and at the restaurant where they like went in the back, like, did you guys get the vibe that like the friends thought like I felt like it was like illustrating the distrust of a stripper because like I felt like all those friends, even though they had like been around her and hung around her, were like, "What the fuck are you doing to Vanya?" Like,
Right.
and it's like it's these
Right.
guys that have me hostage literally right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what are you like, Annie? Like, what like they were thinking like she was trying to like kill Vanya or something. It felt like to me. Like, what did you guys think?
I
I
can
mean,
see
that's a
I
good
can
point.
see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. But I also kind of think that like
I,
she's the new person in the group. So
yeah.
like who are you? You know? Why are you here?
I also
Sort
felt
of.
like like it's the type of friends because I mean I think everybody has friends like that. It's like they're the fall guy friends where it's like, oh, I ain't gonna rat on my homie, type of deal. I feel like it was like one of those occasions where they're like, oh, it's like, oh, he's in some trouble, so I'm not gonna say jack shit about where his whereabouts are at. So I feel like it was kind of like because even in like earlier in the movie, there was like one scene in particular. I don't know if anybody caught it, but they're like, oh, like they were making fun of the fact that he was seeing an escort, just like amongst his friends, like behind his back, behind both of their backs. So whether like he's in on it or not, I feel like his friends automatically know, like when shit happens, cover for him, regardless of what it is. I don't know. I haven't seen him. Regardless, I feel like that it was like one of those situations.
Yeah. I
I
think
can,
feel like
I
it was
could see
weird.
that.
yeah. If a
Oh,
person walks
oh.
in with three big scary looking dudes and as they're asking about someone I feel like your defenses are going to go up a little bit. I'm like, yeah, who wants to know? Like why are you asking? Who are these
Yeah.
guys? Type of.
That's
I
what I was
get.
gonna say too. She didn't explain it either, right? There was no explanation. It was just kind of
I don't
like,
think so.
where is he? Where is he? Where is he?
Where is he? Yeah.
But I also kind of feel like I see where you guys are coming from, and I do see that point of view. But I also see there's that perspective of like all those friends could just be also hangers on, so they have
Yeah.
no clue. They just only care about the party.
He is super rich, right?
You know, so some people don't really they're like they're not really his friend. They just want to party with him. Because if you notice, like a lot of those people, like when Toros is going around, is like they go to that bar with the billiards bar, and like, oh yeah, I know him. He's like he throws good parties, and that's kind of the vibe I get as well. Like people know him for throwing good parties, but they're not really his friends. You know,
That's
and
it.
he probably doesn't even care. Like he's
Yeah.
like Vanya is like he's trying to have a good time, and that's the whole thing too. Like
Yeah.
he got into this whole situation with Anora to have a good time. He didn't love her. He like it becomes like quickly apparent to me at the very beginning of the movie that he doesn't love her. He just like we're gonna have a great time.
Yeah.
That's what he
Not a
says.
long
Trying to have a
time.
great time, or is he trying to piss his mom off?
Yeah. That's a good
I'm
point.
just
That
curious.
too. That I think both.
Yeah.
I think both. Like having a
Right.
good
His
time will piss
mom
his
was the
mom off.
ultimate hoe.
Well,
His mom was the ultimate hoe. Fuck
yeah.
her.
Hey, I'm just
You'll-
curious what you guys think. But do you guys feel like she fell for him, like really fell in love with him, or was it just
Oh, yeah.
purely?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
Totally. Well,
Yeah.
also, like, isn't that in
Saying
of
over and
itself?
over again, it's a real marriage. This is a real marriage. It's like she was
Yeah.
trying to convince
She was
herself.
convincing herself.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a parallel in that too, because it's like, now that you bring it up and you mention it, it's like she was kind of doing the same thing with the people that she was working with. Like, oh, I'm going to make this particular girl jealous because I'm off with some rich, man. And then like in return is just like this really rich kid that's just trying to have a party and make a name for himself. And that's all they're really known for is like, oh, he's
It's
rich
all
with
weird
parties.
flexes.
And yeah, it's a big movie flex.
I mean, it was evident, right, that it wasn't going to work out. Like he made it clear that his money is coming from his parents, and she was quitting this job to get married. Like it was just a dead end for sure.
You know what's really unrealistic about this movie? A person giving in to a wealthy, powerful Russian oligarch. That does not happen in real life. I don't know what they were thinking with that, but
What are you talking about?
no,
It's happening in the White House.
I don't know what you mean. No,
You know what's funny about that statement is this whole movie to me feels like a subversive statement commentary on uh capitalism.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's the party scene, it's the club scenes, it's that whole montage in the beginning, like just spending money left and right, and like I don't know, I think that's capitalism in a nutshell. Yeah, in a way, especially for like the young generations, right? Like a kid like Vanya, who's got a deep pockets, is gonna just party his ass off
Yeah.
constantly,
Well,
and
there's a study that I read about that like people who are wealthy, the wealthier you are, the more disconnected you are from like actual reality.
Yeah, of course. Like they have no like they use their money like it doesn't matter, right? Like
right,
they have no like there's no regrets. They don't care about it. There's
yeah,
no
People
responsibilities
are
attached to
Yeah,
just
it.
things for them to use. They're just
yeah.
pawns everywhere.
Yeah,
yeah, the part when they're
I
in
know a lot
Vegas
of people like
and he
that.
was
Go ahead,
Oh, good.
Arnold.
oh the part when they're in Vegas and he was like, oh yeah, all in, and then he lost. I was like, damn, that was a lot, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, even
I
even
remember. I
Anora had
remember
that
this.
look on her face. Anora
Yeah,
had
she
that
was
look on
like,
her face. She was like,
"Are we
"What
still
the?"
good?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, I remember at I think I was at Alex actually. It was Donnie's like bachelor party or something. But like I put 100 on black because red came up like 8 times on roulette. Do you remember this? And then I was like,
Kind
"Fuck it,
of.
I'm gonna put $100 on black." It came up 8 times. There's no way it's gonna come up tonight. And I lost it. I was like, "Fuck, that's a lot of meals." It's like $100.
You're
But I was
I
liquid.
just
You're liquid, baby. You're
I
liquid,
just
baby.
remember that night we were like at that table, but I remember right next to us was that slot machine, and somebody was just like winning like crazy. They just you hear the clang of all the coins coming
yeah,
down from the slot machine.
no
We
Do you
more
should
remember
watch
spending now.
that?
Swingers. We should watch Swingers. That's a great movie with
Swingers is
Vince
a good one.
I
Vaughn
love
Yeah.
that movie.
and what's
It
his name?
hasn't
John
aged
Favreau.
very well, but I love that movie.
I know, but
Money,
it's
baby.
money, baby. It's money, baby,
I
baby.
love that movie.
What's that, Amber?
And then we'll watch Showgirls.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
With Elizabeth Berkley.
Oh, Showgirls. And
We should
Striptease.
watch the last Showgirl with Pam Anderson.
Was that a movie?
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
That's it just
I've
came
seen
out.
it.
The last Showgirl.
I never seen that.
No, never.
With
heard of it.
Pamela Anderson?
What did you guys think about the diner scene where they're all eating together? Because I was waiting, I was like, God, these guys got to be hungry at some point. Like they got to stop and eat. And then they had this scene. I was like, okay, nice. They're at a diner, they're eating. That felt like such a weird quasi like found family kind of scene.
Yeah, I thought Igor, man, he needs to slow down and chew his food. He's not
Yeah.
gonna digest it pretty well. He's gonna be constipated.
Yeah. Well, no, I
That
think he
burger
gets enough
looked really good.
exercise. But yeah, well, let's go with you, Donnie. What did you think about that scene in general when they sort of the movie kind of slows down a bit?
I think it was necessary, right? Like it was real. Like you've been like searching all night for this guy that you have no clue where his whereabouts are. You're gonna get hungry, right? I actually got hungry at that point and I paused it, and that's when I realized how much time was left on the film. But I thought it was necessary, and I thought that was good. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I
Diner
have a
food hits
follow up
different.
question. I have a follow up
Please,
question.
please.
Who do you guys think paid for that meal?
I want to say it was Toros.
You
Yeah,
think so?
I'm gonna say it's Taurus.
Yeah, given everything, I feel like he
Yeah,
would-
it's definitely Toros. He's like the boss.
Didn't she want to try to order something else and then like they were like no? What is there something like that? Did I miss something?
I can't remember.
I don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah,
But you know what's important about that restaurant scene is you get to see like all the other younger kids that he possibly could have interacted with, and he goes up to them. He's like, "Hey, I'm in need. Like, I need help. Just an emergency. Have you seen this person?" And they were just like dicks to him. Like, I think that's real too. Like, you come across those people who just don't give a fuck what you're going through, emergency or not, right?
For sure.
Yeah, I think there's also that like sort of disconnect between the younger generation and him.
Totally.
You know?
I was trying to avoid
Like,
saying that, but yeah, that's totally.
Oh, no,
that's true.
It's totally fine. It's true.
Yeah.
Toros
as
had to
far
pay
as-
for that meal, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's that disconnect between the younger and older generation with Toros like not really getting like how kids are, but then also, you know, it just kind of shows that sort of how he's handling, you know, probably how he's handled in the Vanya in the past.
If I
He
saw
just
that in
doesn't get
real
it.
life, though, I'd be like, "Who's this geezer? Come on!" Like
Yeah.
we
I think
know
we've
we
all
were
been
all
there, right?
obnoxious at some point in our
Yeah, I
lives.
was gonna
Every
say we've all been there.
generation, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So
Because
But
now
when
we're at that age where you're like, I'm that guy. Like, if I needed
yeah,
help and I went up to somebody, I'd be like, damn, dude.
You're
At
not that
first, I
guy.
thought
Something about that scene too, though, is Igor is throughout the whole film. I feel he's always authentically himself. He never
Yes.
as he
tries
should
to be
be.
anybody else.
Yeah,
He never tries to be anybody else. He's like even as he's eating that burger, right? He's just like munching down and just like showing his food, and that's just like for some people like really bad manners. Like he's
yeah,
just I'm hungry, but also like I don't care. This is me.
yeah. This
He's
is
not
what I
ready.
do, comrade. Um,
He's not
yeah.
ready.
I mean, one of the strippers in the first part of the movie said 39 is geriatric, and I'm like, I'm 39. I watched she said 40 is geriatric, and I'm 39. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I found that
I'm not
offensive
gonna
in
be
the
offended
beginning
by
too.
that. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm sure for someone in their early 20s, 40 is geriatric to them. When I was 13, I thought 30 was geriatric.
Man,
Imagine that.
everybody's making me sad. I'm about to turn 37. And I'm like, wow, I don't even feel like I'm that old.
You don't even look that old, bro.
No, you don't look that
Bro,
old at all.
well, thanks, guys.
To me,
you
you're
guys
always
don't
going to
look
be
that
like
old either.
27. I feel like you were 27 when we met.
Man.
You're always going to be perpetually 27.
Alex
Well, I was at the-
and Donnie, you both look like your early 20s. No, I'm not even gonna lie.
I'm closer to 50 than I am to 40.
Yeah,
How does one obtain these genes?
I was at a grocery store and this kid like tried to reach in front of me. He's like, "Excuse me, Gramps," and I was like, "What the fuck?" I wanted to beat his ass, dude. I was like, "I'm gonna fuck you up, homie." Like, what the hell are you saying?
That's
You
disrespectful,
should
bro.
check them.
That is
Gramps.
disrespectful.
Yeah,
Oh,
I hate
it's
when
my
they
throwing
hit,
man.
shade.
I hate when they hit me with the ma'am. I'm like, excuse me,
Oh,
I'm a ma'am now.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice? I think the diner scene was just like re-emphasizing traditionalism, which is like the point of conflict here. Like the fact that like his parents think like a hoe is not a good person or whatever, but it's like she could be. Like, how do you know? Like, how could you generalize any group? But did you guys hear how she
That is
asked
a
for a
great point.
pill? She like asked for one of the pain pills.
oh yeah, she did.
Like,
Oh, that's what it was. Remember earlier I was asking if she was going to add something to the bill. It was a pain pill. That's what it was. Okay.
yeah. She was like,
Yeah.
"Can I have one of those?" And he's like, "I gave them all to what's his name?" And then he's like, "Because I'm not a drug dealer."
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
"Ugh, not making herself look good."
That is a great point. Just showing that sort of generational difference, I guess, and cultural difference. But yeah, so what did you guys think about the whole scene leading up to them finally finding what is his name? Sorry, I should have had this already. Yaniv?
Vanya,
Va-
Vanya.
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 What did you guys think about that whole scene leading up to him finding him in the strip club with the other girl? I thought there was going to be a bigger blow up between Anora and the redhead chick. But it was still interesting, like how just out of it he was and stuff. But did you guys expect a bigger blow up in that, or did it kind of go how you were sort of thinking it was going to go? Justin, I'll start with you on that.
Me.
Yes, you.
Thanks. Did I expect a bigger blow up than that? Honestly,
Yeah, I thought they
I
were
don't think
building up to something bigger just because she was like the redhead chick was like her op, as the kids like to say these days. And then for her to find him with her in the private room, I don't know. I guess I was expecting like a bigger fucking blow up in that moment.
I think it was like in the moment, I feel like everything is so new and so fresh. Honestly, I would have to put myself in those shoes on like, how would I feel if I were in that situation? Like, again, like they literally just got married the day before or whatever. And then all of this is happening all at once. It's like she immediately went to like forgive him. She's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what this looks like.
That's what surprised me.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was like, oh, she's gonna fucking have it out with Vanya in this moment. I forgive you. I'm like, oh,
Right.
okay.
and then I mean, like, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, when it comes to any like real type of business. If you got like in work beef, I mean, obviously she wasn't working there anymore, but if you got like work beef, like, it's kind of like you, they may have like fought a little bit, but it probably wasn't like as big as if it would have been like some rando off the street. It's like obviously these people have worked together for a long time, to have this sort of like frenemy competition going on. I wouldn't honestly, I feel like could it have been a bigger ordeal and fight? Probably, but I think at that point in time, Anora was also a bit over it too. Like she was just sick and tired of this drama going on. She's just trying to figure out like, does this guy actually love me or not? And I don't think fighting this girl was really on her bingo card that night
Right.
in particular. I don't know. I'm curious to see
No, that's awesome.
what
Yeah.
Amber has to say about that,
Yeah.
honestly, because I feel like you kind of have a better idea of like, the
The
frenemy
cattiness and the dynamics.
relationships and
Dude, like I said, like professionalism in the club is not giving a fuck. Like I'll encourage my customer, like, yeah, go get a dance with her, bro. Like the fuck, like I don't care. Like they don't come there for that bullshit. That's what they have at home, dude. Like chill out. If you're gonna sit with the guy and be like,
That is a great point.
yeah, like don't go dance with her, like bro, like the fuck, like I have like 8 kids. Like I'm not worried about you don't like her, dude. Like you don't, that's very unprofessional. You don't talk to the customers about that stuff. And like you don't care. Like you just don't care. You're like, oh, you got to dance with him too. Bad. Like good job, girl. Like that's awesome. Like that's professionalism. Like if you're walking around getting salty, getting mad, like I just feel like Anna was more professional or Annie was more professional than the other girl because the other girl's like if you're doing that, like you're looking desperate. It's like you know what I mean? Managers are looking at you different. Like, are you even making any money for us, dude? Like you're mad that she danced with your customer. Like, aren't you making like $800 a night? You should be, like, if you're doing it right. Like you're not, you know what I mean? It's like, what are you doing? Like some girls just sit in the back on their cell phone all night. It's like, okay, and then you want to be mad that you weren't on the floor all night and like that somebody else danced with your customer. Well, where were you at? If you really wanted to dance with them, you could have asked first. It's just unprofessional the way the redheaded chick was acting, and she was acting like ridiculous. So that's
not to compare or anything, and I don't mean this in any disrespect at all, but it's kind of like if I were to go out and do like Uber or DoorDash, I can't just pick and choose who I want to. I mean, I can. Like, I can't go pick and choose who I want to pick up and what I want
Just
to
don't deliver
deliver.
to Diddy's house.
But the thing is if I don't do it, I'm not going to make money. And
That's a good
I mean,
point.
not to compare it, but yeah, I mean that's kind of how
Well, it's a
I
good
see it.
analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. God damn it.
From my standpoint, because I hook her off my services for DoorDash and Uber.
no, for real. It's like a menu when you walk into the strip club. Like, do you want a hamburger? Like, do you want cheese on it? Like, do you want chicken nuggets? Like, you're gonna pick what you're into that night, and it could change tomorrow night. Like, it's like
I'll say right now, I will not want cheese on it. No, thank you.
that could be like freckles or something. That was like symbolic.
Yeah.
Tattoos on it or not? You want tattoos on your order?
Well, no.
You don't like cheeseburgers? They're so good.
I like a good patty melt, Arnold. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Alex.
I go to strip clubs strictly for the spaghetti buffet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All you can eat spaghetti buffet.
Alfredo sauce? They sauce that down a lot.
I go for the good IPAs on tap.
The red sauce. The red sauce strictly.
Yeah, no white sauce.
I like a green sauce, a little pesto,
a little
pesto.
Ooh, yeah.
A little
actually go to these
infesto.
strip clubs to eat. Like, I've never eaten at a strip club. Like that's crazy.
Go there for the chicken wings. I hear they have good chicken wings.
I heard the ones in H Town they got a lot of good food at the strip clubs. I mean, I saw it on TikTok.
Oh yeah, you read about it.
It's always
on
at TikTok.
Yeah, I only read on TikTok. All right, now good stuff, guys. So let's kind of get to the speed run this a little bit. The court scene. I feel like is where the chaos really picked up again. That was such a well acted out, played out scene in general. What did you guys think about the court scene in general? Alex, let's start with you.
Oh,
That court scene,
yeah.
man.
So that court scene was definitely the very like when you mentioned how this movie is chaotic. To me, that was like if the strip club wasn't the most chaotic. I think this court scene was probably the second most chaotic. You know,
Yeah,
it like just watching everything just break down.
yeah.
Like nobody wanted to shut up. Toros,
No.
you know, like Anora, like or Anora, just like speaking her mind and like wanting to this relationship to like actually what she thought would work,
Right,
right? Like in her head, like this was just her dream marriage, right?
right.
She created this whole relationship in her head. And I think that's what a lot of people do. Like men, women, we all like when you get infatuated with a person for the first time and like and it's you don't look at the for the red flags, you just like see all this stuff. You create this idea. And I think I've done it a lot in my own life where I created this idea of a relationship with this person and whether it was a long-lasting relationship or not, it still was like part of it. Those relationships were just a story that I told myself, and I think that became very apparent in that. If it wasn't already apparent in like the rest of the film, that courtroom like just kind of sealed the deal, you know?
Yeah. And I thought it was such a brilliant plot point where he's like, when the lawyer turns around, he's like, "You just got married in Vegas?" And then he realizes, no, you can't get it annulled here. You have to go to Vegas. Otherwise, you have to make a request via mail or something like that. That was such a great pivotal moment. And I had no idea where it was going to go. I had no idea that they were actually going to go back to friggin' Vegas. I'm like, wait, how much time is left in this movie? And they still got to go to Vegas to get it annulled. So.
Yeah.
That was great, and I also love the running thing of Toros's car, his Escalade with his bumper that came off. That was a good moment, funny moment in the movie.
Smells like vomit.
In the
I want to bring up Vegas location things because they had a lot of cool Vegas locations. Specifically,
oh yeah,
the hotel they went to, which is actually an off the strip hotel called the Palms, notoriously known as the Playboy Suite Hotel because Hugh Hefner, because there's actually a street dedicated to Hugh Hefner called Hugh Hefner Drive Street, something like that, near the Palms. And they used to have a Playboy Suite at the Palms as well, where they also filmed the show The Girls Next Door.
nice.
FYI. So it was the
Nice.
Palms.
That's a nice little nugget of fun facts right there.
Yeah. I've stayed there a couple of times. It's a nice place.
Nice.
Not bad.
Yeah.
The pool's nice.
They also have a
Buffet's
they
good.
also have a Barbie room in there. There's all kinds of different
Oh
rooms.
yeah.
It's crazy.
They have a bunch of different rooms too. Yeah.
There's the NBA
Arnold, what are you
room.
munching
They're
on? I have to know.
Oh,
Oh,
was,
habit.
some salad. It was already tossed.
Oh, okay.
Some of the fried avocados.
Oh, nice.
Shout out to Habit for the free fried avocados on their app.
Nice.
We're
Yeah.
not sponsored, but download
And
the
then
app. I highly
Oh, they
recommend
will
it.
be. Go ahead, Justin.
Oh, and the Little White Chapel, classic. I mean, a lot of famous people got married at the Little White Chapel. I mean,
Oh, that's a real
yeah, it's a real place.
interesting.
It's a real chapel here in Vegas
Is that where
that
Britney
you
Spears
can
got
go
married?
to.
What's that?
Is that where Britney Spears got married?
Yes.
Yeah.
It
Is that the one?
It
Is that the one with the? Is that the one with the drive-through?
I'm not sure if it's the Whitechapel specifically. They do have a few drive-through chapels out here, but I don't recall.
I went to the one that like the super popular one. I think the one that Michael Jordan got married at. It has like a drive-through. That's where I got married.
Did you
Nice.
really?
Oh,
Wow, that's
Mhm.
crazy.
That is
dude.
that new Alex lore unlocked. I didn't know that.
Wow. Damn.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, so getting to the ending really quick. I feel like this is like kind of like the biggest part of the movie. Well, two biggest parts of the movie. I thought she was going to refuse to get on the plane to go to Vegas. Like I really thought she was not going to do it. I thought she was going to say no, fuck off and run off and not do it. And then they cut to she's in the jet on the way to Vegas, and I was like, okay. I was not expecting that at all. What did you guys think about that moment in general?
Hmm.
I think she was just in a like between a rock and a hard place, right? Like she's not going to get the money if she at least needs to get something, and especially with the way her Vanya's mom puts it, she's like when she threatens to sue, she's like, huh, "Do you have a car? That's gone. You have a house? That's gone." She just calls out everything. Like you're gonna be tied up in court if you try to sue me, right? Like so that like she was stuck between a rock and a hard place. She had to go, you know?
no, but
Yeah,
that's what I didn't get because like she didn't have shit. Like I would have been like, sure, sue me, you're gonna get $2. Me sue you, I'm getting 2 million. Fuck you, bitch. Like that's what I would have said.
Yeah, but
Everything
that's the
lose.
thing though. But that's the thing though. They're an oligarch. They control. They have like so much money they could just like buy their way into like things, and
Gotcha.
regardless of like if she had $2 or $100 billion, like wealthy, like especially if they were both wealthy, they were just gonna be like playing this game like for the rest of their lives, right? But she's not. She can't play. She can't afford to play that game.
Yeah, she'd run out of money before she even made it in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then they promise her $10,000 cash, which I thought like that doesn't even seem like a
Yeah.
lot.
Well, that's $10,000 was the green card fee. Like if you
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you get into a marriage, like I have several friends who have gotten helped out for other friends to get their citizenship and get their green card, and
Right.
that was the fee,
Oh,
$10,000.
that's a lot of money, I guess, for that.
Usually it's like 5 grand up front, and then at the end, like of like the 5,000 or the I think it's 3 years in order to get your green card.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I remember some aunties before they approached me. They're like, I think it was like 30,000, and oh, it's okay. They're only your third cousin. You just have to go. If you do it, you get paid, and then it's only for like 2 or 3 years, and then you gotta take some pictures.
Nah.
You go eat dinner places.
Yeah,
So I think the payout
it's
was a little bit better if you go in Philippines.
That shit's crazy.
I've
They,
had
they,
that
they send people
experience.
to your they send people to your house unexpectedly. They question you like weird shit, like
Yeah.
what
Oh,
position.
really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
What
I know
position?
somebody
What?
who's gone through it. Like they'll question you like personal shit, like what position does he like to fuck? Like,
Yeah.
No.
show me.
Really?
You guys
Are
are
you
just-
serious?
yeah,
I remember
they're
when-
crazy.
Crazy,
They're
yeah.
crazy.
Are they like, okay, you both gotta say it on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Doggy style, I'm missing here.
Trombone.
They just try to find holes in your story, right? Because a lot of
Wow.
people take advantage
That's
of it.
wild, dude.
Yeah, it's wild.
I don't think they
It's
go
crazy.
that far. I thought it'd just be like did
No,
you guys
it got
dinner the
more
other
strict
day?
over the years. It's
Wow, okay.
more strict over the years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Who knows how it is?
That's
these
crazy because like I
days.
remember when I had to go to the lawyer and like the judges and stuff like that. My ex-wife and I now, when we went in front of the judges or whatever, it's so blurry, but I remember bringing in boxes of like photos from weddings and things like that, like just stuff from over time. You kind of had to like have your all your I's dotted and your T's crossed.
That's so
Wow.
interesting.
I'd have
I can't believe that was ever a factor.
I'd have my
I
eyes
remember-
crossed, my T's dotted.
Yeah, your eyes are always crossed,
your
And
Arnold.
your toes crossed too, right, Arnold?
Your titties
No, my-
dotted.
You
My
cross
feet will be
titties as well?
clapping.
You cross your titties.
Are you
I
crossing
had
your
that
titties?
experience though. With my dad. I don't know if you guys remember me telling that on the Poor Decisions podcast, but remember how like my dad married somebody from like Peru, and there was like a whole big thing going on.
I
Um,
vaguely remember this. Yeah.
and
I
then
don't recall this.
they promised my dad like $10,000 or something like that. They're like, "Oh, we'll pay you $10,000 if you marry our daughter." And so we went through the whole thing, and I was a witness to the ceremony and
That's
everything.
funny. Wow.
And they ended up ripping my dad off and
Oh,
Did he
not
ever pay
paying
them?
him jack
Oh
shit, dude.
fuck, dude.
Dude, yeah.
Oh
But like
man.
he was dumb. He didn't ask for any kind of money up front or nothing like that. And I'm not even gonna lie, like they were nice people. Like they treated us really well. They gave us tons of food. They invited us to all the parties. And even after my dad had like the big old like downfall with them, they still invited me and my brother because they liked us. They're like, yeah, good, we're having a party.
that's
And then
crazy.
that's also the story that it's like real quick, I'm just gonna briefly go into it, but that's also the story when uh I always tell people, I was like, oh yeah, I like dated my aunts or whatever because because my dad married
You,
this
Justin
girl.
Lore, unlocked.
My dad married this girl named Susie, right? From Peru. And then like I met I met this girl named Johanna at the party, and this was when I was like, I don't know, like 16, 17 or whatever. And then and then I started talking to this girl, and then like we decided to go on a date like not too long after. And then I found out like later down the line that the girl that my dad married was actually her sister. I was like, oh shit.
Roll
Nice.
Tide.
It was
That's
crazy.
funny.
Anyway,
Wow.
we had a good time, and that's the end of that story.
I
And my
mean-
dad got screwed out of $10,000, and on top of that, they gave him what I apparently they said it was a Peruvian gold ring or something like that.
Yeah.
And
from
then
a
my
Mayan
dad,
temple.
my dad was he was a terrible person, but I guess he went to the pawn shop, and then the pawn shop said, "Oh, this isn't real gold."
It's just Peruvian gold.
And then
See?
my dad came over and he's like, you told me this is Peruvian gold. And then there he was like, yeah, it's not Peruvian, it's not even gold. Yeah, it was a whole ordeal.
Wow.
Anyway, story for another time.
Peruvian gold, aka fool's gold.
Yeah.
Fool's gold.
That's
Yeah.
funny that you mentioned that. I just watched Paddington Bear, the movie. That he goes to
Yeah.
Peru.
Oh, and he goes to
And
Peru.
then
Yeah.
yeah, he's looking for the gold, and at the end, it turns to be El Dorado oranges. That's what it reminded me of.
I can't believe he got screwed. I mean, even a wedding DJ asked for a deposit up front. Your dad should have asked for something up front. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Well, he
crazy.
didn't make the best decisions. That's why he lives on my shelf now.
He should make a poor decision. Oh, never mind. Let's let's talk about the ending of this movie, which I feel is going to be the most talked about scene in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. Let's get back just really quick. The conversation that she has with Igor at the house, and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, the way you talking to me? Like, I don't fucking know you, guy. Like, I'm not trying to have a conversation." And he's like laughing his ass off, and she's like, "You fucking would have raped me, wouldn't you?" He's like, "No, I'm not the rapist, though." And I was like, "What is this conversation?
Douche.
What is this?" Yeah. So, that was an interesting scene. Any thoughts on that scene before we wrap her up?
I really like that scene actually. I really think that's where you see Annie starting to her wall is starting to come down,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
agree.
for him. And I don't think he was intentionally trying to like fall in love with her or anything like that. It was just all kind of just happenstance. And like he was just trying to be kind and be compassionate. And I found that conversation about their names very interesting because you look at the way that Anora and because Vanya's name is Ivan,
Yeah.
Ivan, you know, but they always prefer to be known as Annie and Vanya, right? But those see those are kind of like their pseudonyms, right? They're like that's who they're pretending to be, right? But like when they have that conversation, when Igor has that conversation with Anora at the very end, he's like what kind of name is she's like, what kind of name is Igor? It's like ugly. He's like, what do you mean? I like my name. He's and going back to what I said, he's always authentically himself. And so he's like, Igor means warrior. It's like I love my name. And like he's like, I love your name, Anora. I like that better than Annie. And so like it's kind of this paradox between like, that situation with Annie and Vanya versus Anora and Igor, right? They're being real with each other. They're being authentic with each other, and he's trying to like show that she can be like authentic with him. And then you see at the very like when they go to bed, she gives him a blanket. Like that's kind of like hers like giving in, like, oh yeah, I'm being nice to you. And I found that very endearing. Like that's when you start to see that like she she just wants to be loved, and like I said, like her walls are starting to come down, and she's starting to see that somebody actually cares for her, like regardless if it's a job or not. It's like, yeah, he's doing his job, but he's like actually caring about this. Like there's people who like work at retail stores, but they really love working at a retail store and really put their heart into it, right? And they give their all. And I think that's like the same situation, but it turns out to be like she ends up falling for him.
And that makes sense for the next scene, which is the final scene of the movie, where he's dropping her off at home, and then he tells her, "Hey," and then he gives her the ring back, the ring that I think it was Toros that took from her
Yeah.
earlier in the movie,
Yeah.
and then she sort of like stares at him, and I don't even know how to decipher the look on her face. I guess it was a look of, I don't know, like a surprise. I don't know what it was exactly, but and then she like closes the door, and what happens next? She straddles him, and then
Spit on that thing.
they do the thing, and then he like kind of chokes her a little bit, not like choking her to hurt her, obviously, and then she like stops him, and then she fucking just falls to pieces in his lap. So, and then it just cuts to black with the sound effects underneath. But yeah, that was felt like a very poignant scene, and I didn't know how to feel about it initially, but now that you've said that, Alex, like I guess it is like it's about like the connection that she found with him like last second. I guess is that sort of how you guys interpreted it?
Yeah, I think that's like the whole point of that. It's just the culmination of all that. Like she's starting to see what she had gone through, and that how that wasn't. She's understanding what true love is and compassion. Because like if you think about it, if Annie and Vanya, if their marriage lasted, right? Say they didn't get annulled or whatever. Do you think that they actually have a lasting
No.
relationship? They resent each other because like they don't. I don't think that like so in relationships you have to allow people to grow and accept them for the inevitability that they will change, that people will change. And I don't think that would ever happen with Annie and Vanya. I do think that would happen with Igor and Honora. And like she's understanding that difference now when it comes to real love.
That's a great point.
But when it comes to Ivan, though, like they even bring it up. They say like he's a child. I mean, yeah, he is.
Mentally, yeah,
Absolutely.
mentally he's a
Mentally,
child.
he's a child. He takes no responsibility for anything and doesn't give a shit. And throughout the movie, it kind of reveals itself as time goes on that yeah, this dude is an irresponsible nepo baby.
I
That's
thought
also true.
like half of the movie that he was gonna end up being like underage, and she like fucked him. I was like, dude, is he 50?
That's what I thought.
Like
That's what I thought
his
too.
chest, like I know he said he was 21, but I was like, bro, he has like his chest, like that looks 14.
I was waiting for that reveal.
Yeah,
I'm
me
like,
too.
oh man, like this is it. They're gonna reveal it. He's not even 20, whatever he was. 20. They say
Yeah.
20, 21 or whatever.
21. Yeah,
Yeah.
21.
Um, No, well, good stuff. We're gonna go around really quick and just kind of give our final thoughts in general, because we could have went a little long here. But yeah, Amber, I'll start with you. Any final thoughts you wanted to share about this movie, and where can people find you on your socials?
Okay, my final thoughts are just like when they were driving around New York, like looking for Vanya, it was like unrealistic. This is the only thing I didn't like about the movie. It was like unrealistic and weird that everybody everywhere spoke Russian. Like they
Oh,
were like damn near in Moscow as much as like I was like, wait, this is New York City. Like, why is everybody speaking Russian like everywhere they go? This is weird. So yeah, that I thought that was like not done well. Like that's not realistic. Like I lived in New York City. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like
that's interesting.
uh,
Um,
yeah, what do you guys want to say?
oh, so just your so yeah. What would you rate this movie? And where can people find you on the interwebs?
I would rate it like an 8.5 and you guys can follow me at that Denver girl and on Instagram.
Cool. Well, thank you, Amber. Let's go to you, Alex. Any final thoughts you wanted to share, and where can people find you?
So you could find me at Daily Dares. Just get this out of the way. At Daily Dares at any of all the socials, and then also check out my Depop. You could find the link to my Depop there as well.
What is a Depop?
Um,
Like a store, like a marketplace?
yeah, it's online used clothing, vintage, a little bit more curated than like Mercari or Poshmark.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it's more hip. All the hipsters like I hate
Nice.
That's
that
where
word. Hip.
that's where all the
Hipsters is
shoe
dead.
heads go to buy
All the shoe
shoes.
heads.
No, the shoe heads. There's another one like there's like that's even more popular than Depop,
StockX. StockX.
because Depop is like everybody's just trying to like
StockX, yeah.
yeah, StockX. That's the one. That's the
Yeah,
one.
Nice.
that's
So yeah, I feel like so with this movie, I'm attracted to love stories. I'm a huge softie for romantic movies, even though it's like not really that. It's a love story, but it's like not what you think. It's one of my favorite genres. And it kind of just one of the things I kind of discovered that I found this podcast called Modern Love, and they recently did an interview with this musician Lucy Dacus. And one of the things she said was in that podcast, she said like expectations are premeditated resentments. And so what I've noticed in this film is that like Anora had these expectations of her relationship with Vanya, right? Like they get married and like she has this like that story that she tells in her head, but it's basically just these expectations and they end up becoming resentments, and I think that's one of those things that like that's one of the I guess the moral to the tale is like you need to be aware of like our what when we go into relationships, we know what we're getting into, and be like communication is key. And I think one of the thing is like um the biggest mistake that people make with communication is to assume that it occurred. And I think that's what happened in this film. You just kind of like, oh yeah, they're having this good time, and like they think they had communicated with each other, but like really, like they never did. And there's like, Annie had this idea of what the relationship with the marriage was, and then Vanya had another thing, and his was just like, I'm having fun. Thanks for having having my last time in America be a good one, like what he says in the film. So that's kind of like the whole like for me like what I got out of the film. It's yeah, just be realistic. Like it's okay to have obligations and intentions because obligations are like you're obligated to do something, but if it falls through, it falls through. Intentions are things that you intend to do, like they're kind of loose as well. But when the expectations, like to me, they feel like more like ultimatums, like passive aggressive ultimatums, and I think that's for me a big lesson in this film. So
Well, very well said. Thank you for that, Alex. You're gonna be the Roger Ebert of this show one day. I promise you that. I always appreciate your insights on that sort of thing. So thanks for that. Good stuff. Good stuff.
After he just said expectations are bad, you're like putting expectations on.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
thanks, dude. You're gonna end up resenting me, Adrian. You're sending an intention
I am.
out my way.
We need to.
I'm manifesting it for you.
Yeah. Doesn't she say that in the fucking movie?
Yeah.
To someone, she says it to another stripper, like, "Oh, you're mad. It's good that you have
Oh,
the
yeah.
tattoos. You're manifesting or whatever."
Yeah, at the very beginning.
Yeah, Justin. Let's go to you next. Final thoughts, and where can people find you?
You can't find me anywhere. Try finding me and I'll kill you. Anyway, no. Uh thoughts. I mean, like, I feel like we covered a lot of it while we were discussing the episode. I mean, this was very well filmed, a lot of unknown actors, and I feel like that's like a current trend in filmmaking that I've been appreciating lately, is that finally people are starting to take like was it risks on having new actors. But Sean
Yeah.
Baker's known for doing that in general.
Yeah.
Like, he's known for just pulling from his source, like wherever he's filming at, he just pulls, amazing actors. And Adrian, you're muted.
Sorry. I think his next movie, I bet you he's gonna have some big name star or stars in it, because that Oscar win, all those Oscar wins have put him on the map. You know what I mean? So
Right. I mean, yeah, and that's crazy because Florida Project was really, really good. I'm not gonna
It
lie.
was.
And Red Rocket was really, really good.
I need to watch that one.
So, I mean, yeah, I think Sean Baker is on a fast track to something. I honestly hope he doesn't give into Hollywood, man.
They're gonna
because
try
I
to get
think-
him to direct a fucking Marvel movie or something.
No,
You'll
don't
see.
say that. No,
they're
don't say
gonna or a DC.
If they
or
were to
something.
do if he was to do any Marvel movie, it would have to do with something involving Wanda and Vision, and I think he would be perfect for that. But hey, I'm not going to say that
There you go.
anymore.
Well, he said that at
That's the
the
only God.
Independent Spirit Awards that he's like a lifelong indie film guy. So
Yeah.
What did you say?
he said he's when he was accepting his award at the Independent Spirit Awards, he says, "I'm a independent filmmaker lifer." So
There you go. Amber, you were saying something?
Yeah, you were saying, but
I said Wonder Woman sells pussy on the side. That's his Marvel.
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
That movie I'll watch. Cool.
You know what? I didn't think about Sean Baker going for DC. Hey, you never know. Anyway,
Where can people find you?
yeah. Well, if you see the thing here where I'm pointing, that's my tag, Ships the Zombie,
Zombie.
on social media. Yeah, just find me on Instagram, and then you can like follow the links to everything else I do, because I do too much. Anyway, I'm going to give this movie, because I've explained my thoughts and feelings of this movie while we were recording here. So I'm not going to dive into it. I'm just going to say, hey, I'm giving this movie a 4 out of 5. Did it deserve the Oscar? Abso-fucking-lutely. There are some things I wish things that could probably change, but it's a wonderful movie. I didn't expect where it was going to go. I honestly went into it thinking this was going to be straight up a romance movie, but it's like a romance drama that's kind of mixed up with how Uncut Gems is filmed a little bit. Uncut Gems, don't get me wrong, that movie's intense. And I've only watched it once, and there's a reason why I've only watched it once.
Same.
Not that it's like too intense or anything.
This is how I win.
I just get stressed the fuck out, and that movie stresses me out. I'm like, ooh. Anyway, 4.5 out of 5. Find me on Letterboxd, and that's my review, yo.
Thank you so much, Donnie.
Oh, I think I forgot to give my star rating. It was
what was
mine
it? Go
was
ahead.
mine was 4.5 as well.
Oh,
Nice,
okay.
nice. Donnie, let's go to you. Any final thoughts, and where can people find you? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Oops. You can find me on my socials, Instagram mainly _Donnie Appleseed, all spelled out. Let's see. What did I think about the film? I thought it was a really good film. All I saw was the trailer prior to going into this. It did make me want to watch the movie when I saw it in the theaters. And I talked a little bit about that in the beginning, but I didn't know what to expect. But it was really good. I had a lot of people tell me that it wasn't a good movie, and then it ended up winning all these awards. And so I was like, oh, I wonder how this is going to play out, right? I wonder what I'm going to feel like. But it was a really good movie. I didn't think it was slow at all. I thought it was paced well, and I thought every scene was intentionally put there and for good reason, right? So I give it also a 4.5 out of 5.
Nice. Thanks for that, Donnie. Arnold, let's go to you next. What did you think? Any final thoughts, and where can people find you?
So you can find me right there at Arnie Callego on all the socials, Instagram, TikTok, all everywhere. Um, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was pretty good. Um, would I watch it again? Yes, I'd watch it again, and I probably need to watch it again because there was, as we were talking about this, I watched it last night, I was like thinking, man, I need to watch it again. I can't remember some of the scenes, and uh, have you guys anybody take heard of lion's mane? I started taking that stuff to try and help with my memory.
Oh,
I thought you were
yeah.
about to say. I thought you were
Help
about to
with the
say.
memory.
I thought you were about to say. Have any of you guys taken crack?
We got done a line.
Yeah, that was like 25 years ago, man. No, just take lion's mane, man. Uh, but obviously not enough because I was struggling to try to remember. I guess the parts where they're looking for Vanya was a little cloudy for me. Maybe it could also be like I was talking about the meal that I had. I was a little full, got a little sleepy there. Well, I started eating popcorn too for whatever reason. Just movies, popcorn. You gotta have it, and so made some popcorn even though I was full.
Some Dippin'
And-
Dots.
yeah. Uh, but overall, I my rating for it. Oh, first of all, Z rating. I'll give it probably no, Amber. I do this thing called the Z rating, and it's will I fall asleep if I have like 2, 3 Z's? That means I fell asleep for sure, and so that's like
So the lower the Z rating, the better, basically.
so yeah. If it's 0 Z's, it's really good.
Superb.
If it was 0 Z's and after a full meal, that's pretty good. So I had a pretty heavy meal, and I'd say a half a Z because there was one point where I know I was like, and then my wife looks at me and I play it off like I was just breathing like, and uh, but so maybe those parts I don't really remember, but uh, my overall rating, I'd say I give it a 3.5, a 3.5. I feel like if I watch it again, maybe I'll give it a 4, but for because how it won all these Oscars, it made me more excited to want to watch it. I got even more excited when I was like, oh, I don't know, it was this kind of movie. Um, and we didn't even talk about all the weed smoking and all the pens in it and everything. Uh, man, there was a whole
lots of
lot in
that.
there.
I think
I
she
felt
was
like
doing lion's mane at one point.
Lions, man. You know what? I got some right
And
here.
that's our.
Oh,
Does
no.
it count as our 420 episode?
Did I see Vanya with a special sleepwalk?
Lions, mine,
Oh, there it is.
mine.
Oh, mushroom powder. Okay.
Yeah. Last week I had the wave watch. The other week I had the thing that electrocutes you.
Yeah.
I got
yeah,
a lion's mane this week.
Let's see you do a line of lion's mane.
yeah.
Might make me do a heel clap or something.
I think that's illegal in certain countries. All
Just,
right.
just a little bumpski, little tiny
bumpski,
bumpski.
I just added it to my my coffee.
Did you give your socials? I don't know if you give your socials.
Oh yeah, I did at Arnie Collego.
Arnie Collego.
Everywhere
All right.
where y'all can find me. Now,
Sounds
Adrian,
good. Yes, sir.
have you given yours?
I'm glad you asked, Arnold, because no, my final thoughts. After discussing it with you guys, I'm going to actually bump up there. I was going to give it a 3.5. I'm actually going to bump it up to 4 because Alex brought up so many great points about sort of Anora's sort of psyche and where she was at during the course of this story that I hadn't really considered. And speaking of expectations, I think I had certain expectations that weren't met. And that's kind of all on me for having any kind of preconceived notions about this movie. So, after discussing with you guys, I feel like I actually understand it better now, which is why I'm bumping up the rating. Because initially I thought, she's kind of along for the ride. She kind of doesn't have as much agency as I was expecting her to have throughout the story. But after discussing it here, I feel like I understand it a lot better, and her journey throughout, and sort of her character development. You know what I mean? Throughout the story. So I found all that very interesting. I feel like Mikey Madison really fucking carries this movie. She's only 25 years old. I mean, I don't even know what I was doing at 25. But my God, did she carry this fucking movie? And she deserves the Oscar for Best Actress. She really does. And Best Picture and Best Director for Sean Baker, Best Editor and Best Original Screenplay. Like, that's an insane amount of Oscars to win on a $6 million budget film directed by a guy who's done 4 movies prior to this. No, just 3, right? Florida Project, Red Rocket, Tangerine, and maybe there's one more I'm not thinking about, but I mean, good for him, man. That is an amazing achievement, and I feel like, in a way, we're sort of entering this sort of renaissance age for like indie movies. Like in the '90s, you had the big Weinstein budgeted movies, right, with Kevin Smith and Tarantino and all those guys. I feel like we're entering that sort of an era again in this day and age, which is great, right? Because in the age of superhero movies and fucking big budget, big tentpole IP stuff, like, we need these sort of movies, right? We need like these smaller stories that still have a big emotional impact. So 4 stars out of 5 for me on Letterboxd. You can find me on Letterboxd, Boots Too Big, across all social medias. And you can find the show, the neverseenitpodcast.com, where we update and upload all of our episodes, the Never Seen It Podcast, on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Threads. We're everywhere. So that's the show. And you can follow the Never Seen It Podcast on Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, Facebook, TikTok, and X. Check out our website, neverseenitpodcast.com. Send us an email. Leave us a comment on what movies you'd like to see, like for us to talk about on this show. Subscribe to our show on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts from. If you like our show, please share it with your friends. And if you haven't, leave us a review. We'd appreciate it. And I want to thank Kyle Mapson of Burn Cycle for our intro music. You can follow Kyle, selfies_food_and_pets. We got to have him on, guys. Like, his posts are next level. And I want to thanks to everyone who's listening. And do we have any final or any last words from the gentleman?
What happens in Vegas will follow you back to Russia.
Maybe not a hand clap, but
yeah.
Are those slides?
yes.
All right, nice.
Look how flexible he is, damn.
Ow.